guys, Bolt here, and we're going live on Twitch for this one, and I'm also going to be recording YouTube videos as the stream is going on. Actually, before I continue, I do want to get a few other games installed. Because technically this 10-year anniversary does apply to the first 3 games. Because literally this is the day that the first game released, and then here in a few months the second game will be on its 10-year anniversary, and then early of next year will be Five Nights at Freddy's 3. So anyways, real quick, if anyone who cares to know about the news, basically just spill it out. This entire week and August 1st, so August 1st to 8th was Five Nights at Freddy's week. The first we had the My Pop Goes, that was a full release over on Bolt, my YouTube channel I primarily upload games on. I played that through. I think its final release will be on this weekend, where I beat Night 5 and get the ending. I didn't go fully big on it because I don't care for like Snake and all that, which is the mini games you have to beat to get secret endings. But in that, quickly, they suggested a connection between Five Nights at Candy's and Pop Goes. Apparently, the main character you play as, Bonnie Glades, I believe it is a friend of Mary Schmidt, who is the main character of Five Nights at Candy's 1 and 3. She was the night guard for 1, and she was the child who saw something in the Rat and Cat Theater in 3. And basically, they have a big connection with their parents and trying to get this paranormal investigation going. And basically, we're setting up a fanverse for Five Nights at Freddy's with Pop Goes. And they also show the toy animatronics, which is weird. But the fanverse looks like it's running on the first trilogy of games instead of further on games. Next was the Joy of Creation remake, the demo. We will be playing that on the stream. If you guys missed it, I do play certain games early on stream, so it's suggested that you come see stream every now and again. If you don't want to wait for the video to come out. So we're doing the demo today. VIP, really quick. VIP was a free interactive novel. It's the first of the interactive novel series. It is number 0. Basically, you are a teenager who has to take care of his little brother, who were given VIP passes to the Pizzaplex, and basically, you are given a little AI friend called VIP, which is very informative pig, which is basically a Helpy ripoff, who I think has sprinkled Mimic program. If you are a big fan of Fazbear Frights and the novels, you'll understand that the Mimic is not just an animatronic in the books. He is a animatronic that is the animatronic is Mimic version 1, where there is a program that Fazbear Entertainment made based on his programming known as Mimic version 2 or Mimic 2.0. And basically, I think that point 2 is a part of VIP and is making his decisions weirder. And basically, the entire story is you gotta either go along with your little brother, do what he wants, and you get stuck doing one thing, or you can like inch your way through the book. And basically, from what I understand, is he has murderous intent where he will try to get you into a room to get locked in there until you starve and die. Because we do read about other kids' corpses being found. So the Pizzaplex now has a body count. We didn't know if there was any body counts confirmed, but now we know based on VIP and of course Tales of the Pizzaplex that there are definitely body counts. And then that also kind of supports the mimic theory. The biggest thing that I do say that comes from this is that this is a Bonnie, like Monty Star, because Glam Bonnie is still a thing here. And it also kind of explains why Tales of the Pizzaplex is set up different from this. Basically, this is set up before it is expanded and is as big as it is in the game. Basically, VIP mentions that we are expanding constantly, we're getting new concepts, some concepts get retired and get reused. We actually seen this in Ruin because there was the Foxy waterlog ride. That explains why, things like there's a storyteller tree and there's a merry-go-round we never get to see in the Pizzaplex, but we see it in here and in the Help Wanted 2 game. We also mentioned that Sun and Moon may not be operable at this point because the daycare is not a thing. We also get more information on Monty before he became Rockstar Monty. And is basically he was just used as a extra animatronic for entertainment purposes, as he was mostly just someone to run around in a maze with you. There was those mazes that were very stupid in the game. Apparently that was Monty Maze, not Mazercise. It was Monty's Maze instead of the mini golf, but it turned into the mini golf. But basically, it is confirmed that his voice lines throughout the entire security breach game, those are actually more accurate to his lines to try to get the kid's attention or hunt down the kid in the maze. It also explains why he's so aggressive towards the kids is because he's got that pre-programmed I'm hunting through a maze. And then we also see jealousy of Bonnie in this one. So basically we're setting up Monty's backstory. We kind of understand Monty fully. I would like to understand why Chica has her eating habits and why Roxy has an ego problem. I'm hoping to see those in the upcoming books or the new game. And then we also learn that basically there's a huge history behind, during, and there's a huge timeline for the Pizzaplex of things that did happen, could happen, and have happened. But basically that's what VIP kind of shows, is just there is more to the Pizzaplex than what's on the surface, because no one person knows what the Pizzaplex was in at some point. And that's kind of all it really does. It does set into the VR aspect. If you want to beat the book, you have to get a part of this VR headset that looks like Freddy's head, and basically this was a big point, was they introduced a Five Nights at Freddy's World concept where you put this helmet on, you'd basically do the entire thing that would Vanny do, where it shows an entire Pizzaplex, but I need to hurry this up because the thunderstorm. I'm playing until probably 10 or until I hear something. If I hear a lightning, we're done. just because I'm not going to attempt my computer with this. I might do this. If I do, I'm going to quickly shut everything down, and I'll see you tomorrow. Just for Twitch's purposes. Anyways, VIP, Five Nights at Freddy's World, Helmet. You get into this world, it pulls up what Vanny's mask does, where it shows you the entire Pizzaplex in its heyday. You get to see actually Monty's mini golf in this. That's just a car. In this virtual world. So something that's meant to be made is already in the VR experience. And this experience 10 times is your points. And you need 100,000 points to outright beat VIP in his intentions. And there's a good side to the AI known as Virtual Informative Pig. To kind of like counteract the normal VIP. But anyways, why it's Five Nights at Freddy's World-esque is because there are layers to this thing. Where like the deeper you go, the more it is more riskier to go in layers, but you get more points as you go. Which in Five Nights at Freddy's World, for you to get to other points in the game, you would require to glitch into other layers of dimensions. But anyways, yeah, it's like Five Nights at Freddy's World might be becoming lore accurate now. We're getting we got basically the entire Monty backstory at this point. It is almost all but confirmed that he destroyed Bonnie at this point. Basically, the Pizzaplex could have been anything at any point. And then we kind of build up a little bit of the Mimic story by possibly having VIP as Mimic 2. It also shows the personality before Security Breach of the main animatronics. Moving on to the Scott interview with Dawko. We didn't get too much like we did in the first one. The first one basically had him go through his entire thoughts of every single game he went through. And the only thing we learned to that is that Security Breach was meant to be something better and in more of a Scott vision, but because of the vid, it ended up shutting down like communications, and basically how things ended is not how it was meant to be. And Scott ended up feeding information instead of just, hey, here's the entire storyline, here's how we're supposed to tell the story, and this is what these little aspects are for. Like for one thing is Burn Trap was not supposed to be a boss battle, but it was supposed to be a little decorative thing that you may see in the background. And it was supposed to do his normal, like, hey, he's a little Easter egg, it might happen later, it might be a thing, hey, it might just be him dug up corpse. But it ended up being something that they made into a storyline, which is now what we're trying to deal with. It is very confusing because what it was set up cannot pay off the original way it was meant to. But we can't hate Steelwolf for it because they're still making amazing games, and now that Scott understands that he needs to tell them the entire story from now on, he will, actually communicate it right off the bat. We basically, from what we understand, the box doesn't matter at this point. I know everyone's like, we need to figure out what's in the box. But here's the thing, Scott basically says he would try to hunt down the idea of, like, he would show what he was going to tell, but not actually show what it was meaning to go to. Like he did with Steelwool, he added the little storytelling points, but never ended up telling us what it was until a game later on. So to basically set it up, the box was meant to be something. It changed as the series went on, and then eventually it's just, the box is no longer important. It's significance is so far in the past that it's like you will no longer find what it was for the time being. So it's just the box, just toss it into the giant pile of trash ideas like the Bite of 87. The Bite of 87 was for a small bite of many, and the only one that matters at this point is Bite of 83, which is, I guess, the original Bite. And then the only other thing is there's a lot of stuff happening in the background, but he is he's all but confirming Fetch as a video game, which is the second Fazbear Frights book, which he does say, I think Mega Cat is what the studio is called, the one who made Into the Pit for this, which did release today. We will not be playing that on stream. That is for Bolt, because that is a $20 game that we will eventually have to get to, because currently I'm dealing with a lot right now, so that's going to have to be put on the back burner for a little bit. We're also trying to get to Help Wanted 2. It might be a little bit before we get to Into the Pit, but basically, Into the Pit, I've teased myself, and I've already basically seen everything of that game. And they tell the other stories of the games. I think they tell the other two stories of the book, of the very first one, but the only other one we get to see, so there's 3 mini games telling the other 2 stories, which was the Funtime Freddy one where, let's see, we got To Be Beautiful, which is Eleanor, which is the circus baby equivalent, and, you know, she replaces the body parts of a kid to eventually steal her body parts for herself. And then the other one was, oh boy. Basically, it's just, hey, this kid wants to get away. She's reclusive. She wants this big life. She gets into Funtime Freddy's chest to hide, and ends up just basically going on a, hey, you want to hear my ideas of how I'm going to kill you? And you can choose one of them. And that is basically how it is, and then she takes a chance at possibly getting out by having him take a sheet of metal into his stomach that may or may not have killed her. Based on a faraway story, it sounds like either her soul escaped Freddy or she actually got out. But the other story we learned that we see is basically a knockoff Fetch story, where just you're a kid going around collecting balloons. You go into this section that has prizes, and it has what looks like to be a robot dog that as soon as you place the balloons, you run out and it attacks you and kills you. And it says, see you. And that's at the very end of the game as well if you get the perfect ending. So, with what Scott said and what the game is showing, we're getting a Fetch game. Moving on to the collab real quick. Five Nights at Freddy's is going to be collabing next year with Dead by Daylight. Most likely we're going to get what everyone wanted, which is the Springtrap. Because it's like mid-2025, so after the 10th year of Five Nights at Freddy's 3, it'll probably be like, hey, here's the teaser for the game, for the DLC, showing Springtrap as our killer. And we'll probably just get a night guard suit or something. I don't think we're going to get an official look of the Mike Schmidt from that. We might just get a movie version, the Five Nights at Freddy's movie, but I think that might have too many problems with copyright. But anyways, moving on to the Steel Wool announcement, which is basically there's yet another Five Nights at Freddy's Steel Wool game coming out that is known as Secret of the Mimic, which is basically the Mimic may have been the original puppet because we get to hear the grandfather clock music from Five Nights at Freddy's 2. We see a box that the puppet normally pops out of, and it looks like a moon/sun-esque being that has red eyes, and then we get the title, which it's like you don't title it unless you're showing what the game is about. Which if you're titling it "Secrets of the Mimic," it's most likely about the mimic. And then the very last thing, because I already mentioned the 8th was Into the Pit. 7th, yesterday, was 5 Laps at Freddy's, the demo, which we do have for the stream. And for people on YouTube, this is on SB Studios. Go over to Bolt, which is capital B.O.L.T. And basically all capital Bolt with dots after every letter. Basically, think of an acronym, just so it pops out. But 5 Laps at Freddy's and the Joy of Creation will be over there if you're not watching this on stream. Anyways, that's it for the news outlet. So people on YouTube, I'll see you in the next one. Bye.